See, I can hear it off your.
Yeah. Can you hear me? I can't hear Mike. Wait, hold on. Mike's muted.
Well, we're trying to go through Jason's.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So
Awesome.
I'm running through my board with the audio, but he has a camera, his own camera. So
Fun.
yeah, so his lips might be a little off from his.
I'll just stick my lips back here.
Yeah, you
No
won't
one
be
will
able
know.
to see it.
No, it's actually great. It's not bad at all, except he's backlit like a chump.
Well, you can put the blind down if you want. Are you video recording this or just audio?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yes. Look at that looks fantastic. Mm-hmm. Got your little screens over the mics there.
Yep, our little I got mouth noise and Mike's a heavy breather, so
Very heavy breather.
Oh, don't tell me that, because then I'll be like, oh God, did I do it? Did I make
no, you're
mouth?
not like that.
Okay.
I would tell you, we don't all have $500 to drop on a microphone, you big fancy fuck.
Yes, you do. You just got to put your time to it. Couple months of savings. You can absolutely do that.
I just bought a new pair of headphones. It's coming from Sweetwater.
Okay. Yeah, I use these Audio Technica. They're kind of like the workhorses of the broadcast industry.
Yeah, that's what I bought. I think they're $150.
I don't remember. I just know that it's been unbelievably efficient. I've had the one pair crapped out. You know, when you plug in, it's sometimes you get shorts in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to fix those, but I know people who do know how to fix those.
Okay.
So then I pass buckets of, or what do you call it? Bins of headphones. Hey, can you fix these? But these ones haven't done it. So.
Huh. Well, at least for that. No, yeah, these are cheap $30 ones, and I wear them so much the foam's kind of worn out of them, and I'm like, I need something.
The bright red looks like something a child would wear.
Yeah, the whole studio has them. Let me tell you,
They sell them in black, but Jason bought the red.
I like red.
Mike, nice to meet you. I'm Eric.
It's very nice to meet you, Eric.
You, I need to know something about you on our first ever crossover episode. How do you fit into this? You known Jason a long time, or what's going on?
No, so I went to college with Ben.
Okay.
And then I reached out a year ago and said, "Hey, I would love to be on Threads." And I was on Threads, and I got to know Jason and Ben really good, and that's how I'm here.
Yeah, he was basically a super fan, and then kind of reconnected with Ben, and then me and him, and then
nice
working out together. And
so I fangirled myself onto the show. Is really what I did.
Okay, that's cool. Now, did you have the beard before you met Jason, or after?
Yes. Had it before Jason. I did not do this to copy Jason.
It has gotten longer though.
Yeah, it's time to cut it though.
No,
it's getting a little bit scraggly.
Well, it's amazing the passage of time, because Jason, as the beard becomes more and more white, it's becoming a shocking white. I don't recall it looking like that when we first kind of started to chum around a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't really. I'd be interested to look at old photos, because I've had it for a while. But yeah,
Did you used to dye it? Did you used to dye it or something?
No.
Oh,
never. Ugh.
I want you to be you've got the perfect beard. You ever be looking on Facebook and you see an image of some dude who's 68 and just jacked? Have you seen that guy?
Yeah,
and then,
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? And then it looks fake. He's so jacked. And it says secret to age or something like that. He's got that beard. So, well, all you need to do is just a couple aerobics classes and you'll be just like him.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of steroids.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Well, okay. So you're off and running, Mike. It's relatively new to the Threads podcast. I think you became a full-time co-host with Jason in the last month or so, right?
Yep. In the last month, full-time co-host with him. We've been trying to figure out our jam and rhythm together. And
your jam.
Yes.
Okay.
Our vibing, as we say.
Honestly, I've had so much fun recording with Mike. Him and I just seem to vibe really good together, and we laugh a lot.
Oh, good. Yeah. So it's fun, and I'm that's really cool. That's really excellent. I gave you guys a homework assignment. Did Jason pass along the homework assignment?
Yes, he did.
Okay. I think I just worded it as, hey, let's each present a story and kind of just kick it around a little bit, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ours are pretty uncomfortable. At least mine is.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, are you volunteering or should I go? Or should Mike go?
No, I'll go first.
Oh, please do.
So one of the things that I've been seeing around, other than like Ukraine and Russia and stuff, is Texas governor pushes to investigate medical treatments for trans youth as child abuse. So this is a transgender topic. And basically what it talks about is if you give any person under 18 a surgery or hormone pills or anything like that, the governor wants to label that as child abuse. So there's two levels here, right? There's the child abuse, which I think is stupid, and the opinion on my end, which Mike was really nervous about me saying this, is that I don't think if you're under 18, you should be able to do that. Like the surgery for sure, no. And I guess some of the drugs maybe, but you can't vote, you can't go to war, you barely can do anything. Why would, and you're still growing. I just think that's a bad move.
Well, I see what you mean because such a heavy, profound decision.
Yes.
And tough to take that one back, as much as I would love to say, make this really interesting and disagree with you, I am not going to, because, anybody who drops that type of heaviness, I think that when you're young, I think, fuck, I don't even think guys start thinking straight till they're like 48,
Yeah. I even mentioned that to Mike. I was like, I didn't grow up till at least 31, 32.
Yeah. So no, but so when they say child abuse, so who would be charged with child abuse? The physicians or the parents or what?
I believe the parents. I can go back and look at that.
Either way, that's still
yeah.
I don't. I have to think about that one. I don't know. That might be just a step too far. I think that if you take care of the first one we talked about, we don't really have to deal with the second one,
Yeah, but it's just, I am all for transgender and everything like that. In fact, through this podcast, even with Ben a little bit, and this podcast has really changed the way I think as far as like social issues on the more liberal side on social issues. I mean, and so I've been really supportive of this community, but I just think it's a little much I have a 14-year-old daughter. You know what I mean? I can't imagine, even if she came to me, I'm like, babe, if you feel like you're a guy, I'm totally down with that, but I'm not giving you drugs or we're not doing this until like, you can barely remember to pick your socks up off the floor when I ask you to on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Like, how can I support this? So I would support it in another way, but not by doing that. I know people might hate me about that, but
no, you're being honest. Hell, I'll take the heat off you. I'm not going to lie to you. If my daughter says to me, I'm looking to gain a dick, I'm not happy at all. I'm sorry. I'm like, that's great that you're happy, but I'm going to be very, very upset about that. It'd make me very, very sad because I don't know. I just can't really get behind that. Now, if someone has already done it, if the next door neighbor says, hey, I'm a girl now, I'm like, you get them. But if it's for my life with my family, I'm not happy with that. Not at all.
Well, and I also think that a kid changes so much from 10 to 20. Like they may at 10 say, I like girls, or I think I should be a boy. And puberty may change that, right? Puberty may change that in them because there's a thing called hormones that, all of a sudden, like girls look hot, and things like that for a boy, so things that change that I would hate for somebody to have surgery because they had a thought at 10 and 11 and 12 and then regret that later on.
I would go so far, and that's a good point. If my daughter said, hey, I think I'm going to become a boy, I would say, look, why don't you just become a lesbian? I'm not even kidding you. I would say, it sounds ridiculous to say, why don't you, if you like girls, why don't you just date both, do anything, but leave your body out of it,
Well, that brings up a good question. And that's where I struggle with transgender. Like when you are a girl and go to a guy, like who are you into? Like that, are you gay? I don't know. It's very confusing to me, but I try to support them as much as I can. Because it's important to, like, we should be inclusive for everything. But
Well,
yeah.
no, I think that's fair, and I agree with that. We shouldn't keep people away from the good things in life just because of that one thing, but and frankly, someone who's going through that. I mean, you and I'm assuming that we're all comfortable with who we are and what we are.
Yes.
We take that for granted, that stability. The person who is like the person in Texas or wherever who may be trying to change your identity or whatever. I mean, that's rough sledding. You almost have to just kind of be careful. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't want someone doing something drastic because of their sexuality,
Well, there's a lot of suicide in that area too. So it's like
Correct.
You want to be supportive. Like I said, if my daughter came to me, I'm super supportive. Whatever you need up to this level, like we're not going to get surgery. We're not going to pump you full of drugs, but whatever you want to do, your clothes, whatever, I'm supportive. But yeah, it's a hard thing to talk about for sure.
Okay, Mr. Mike, you're up.
Okay, so mine is I just saw this stat and I don't have it in front of me, but it shows how much the uber wealthy have gotten richer during COVID, right? And they are making more and more money. Average people like Jason and I have stayed the same amount we've earned. Here's my question.
Me too.
Zane as well. So here's the thing I wonder. Is there a point where we tell the uber wealthy, congrats, you have one life, but like we are going to tax the heck out of you from now on. Like you have won, you have like $500 billion. You are good. We are going to say you have won. Here's a trophy. But you know what? We are going to tax you at 99.9% on everything else you make. So that's my thoughts on that.
Well, yes, but so are they getting taxed because they're good at making money? Well, explain that to me.
I think at some point, like you have so much money, like does another billion really affect you versus like coming back to everybody else? And so like maybe like a trophy's just fine for them at that point. I don't know.
Well, stick to your ground. I mean, you gotta dig your heels in when I tell you.
Right.
You sound like a communist.
Well,
good. Good.
I agree. I think that if you worked hard and you earned that money, you should be able to do whatever the hell you want on it. But I do hate people that haven't worked for it and are super rich. Like you got like these people that start from this small little company and they make it Amazon.
Yes.
Like he started in his garage, dirt poor, whatever. He can do whatever he wants. I don't like the people that like get inherited this money or they're, Bezos' kid and they're like having all that. I feel like it's a different level.
Okay, let's say Bezos' kid inherits all of his dad's money, but Bezos' kid got hit by a train and doesn't have legs. Is he allowed to just relax?
No, because he can still use his arms and his brain.
But again, I think, and again, maybe there's a different point. Maybe if somebody has $1 trillion, but at some point, I think we have to say, you know what, you have won, and you don't need any more of that. Thank you so much. Society has helped you. You are doing good.
That would be great if they would tax them, but our government can't do anything with the taxes correctly. So I don't know if I'm a fan of that either.
Doesn't it drive you nuts? We've heard this time and again when someone who's super wealthy somehow, because they're good with doing their taxes, you find out they haven't paid tax.
Yeah.
I mean, my God. Or what also drives me nuts is when you hear about the wealthiest of the wealthy, who, when they do something like go to space or whatever, and you think about all the money that if they chose to, they could probably single-handedly eliminate hunger in the world.
I know.
I mean, that's not like just a pipe dream with the amount of money that has been thrown around. Or you hear about Bezos' yacht. Did you see Bezos' yacht?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. The amount of dollar for that, because he built it from scratch. I mean, my gosh. And to think that guy is so much more wealthy now, and he gave half of his wealth to his ex-wife.
Yeah, and she's given like, what did they say, like 2/3 of the money away to charity already. He's got to be going, son of a bitch.
But
So,
like
yeah.
with his yacht, though, wasn't there a bridge over in Europe like that was being torn down so that he could get through?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like crazy. See, to me, at some point he has enough money. Like at some point, it's enough money. We're like, hey, congrats! You have this yacht. You have everything. You'll never run out. Thank you for paying the rest in taxes.
The locals, I'm not sure. I think it was the Netherlands where he had it made. They're going to. So that's your people, Mike.
Yeah, my Dutch people.
Yes. Yep. They're gonna. This bridge has been was destroyed in World War II. They built it back. It was a big moment. You know, the bridge is this fantastic looking bridge. I saw it a clip of it. He's paying to dismantle it and then build it back. And then the locals don't like that. So they're going to egg the boat.
Oh,
the locals are going to egg the boat as it goes through.
But the part of that stinks is it's not Bezos who's going to clean it up. He's going to hire somebody for really cheap to go buff it out. So it's not even him.
Egg a boat. Like, what is this? Like in the freaking 1500s or something? Jeez.
Right. Those are the Dutch people that did not come over. So like we don't really count them as smart as us.
Oh,
wow. He should get some of those stingers that they're using in Ukraine to blow up tanks and shoot back.
Oh, dude, those things are sweet.
So I mean, again, now I'm gonna say the other side of my point is that Elon Musk though is using his like Starlink satellites for good to help, you know, in the war with Russia. So like, okay, yeah, he's helping. So maybe we will tax him less because he's actually helping the world, you know.
Okay, so it's all we should make you the case by case administrator of who gets. You're like a judge, you know.
Yes, the czar.
99% tax. I am Mike Vendry. Boom.
Oh, the world would be a worse place, but you know, it'd be fun.
Okay, boys. Speaking of Ukraine, View host Joy Behar made some comments. I might be able to. I think I can share this. So bear with me because I suck at this. Okay.
Got to stop saying that.
I know. I'm buying time. I
know. You don't.
Okay. Share sound. Joy Behar was, and you can see what you can see like the View and an ad playing and shit like that.
Correct.
Okay. This was on the View the other day. Joy Behar talking about, you know, everybody's talking about Ukraine and, oh my God, this is terrible. Homes are being destroyed, dead children, dead moms.
Estimates are 50,000 Ukrainians will be dead or wounded, and that this is going to start a humanitarian crisis, a refugee crisis in Europe. We're talking about 5 million people that are going to be displaced. I mean, it's heartbreaking to hear what is going to happen.
Well, I'm scared of what's going to happen in Western Europe, too. You know, you plan a trip, you want to go there. I want to go to Italy for 4 years. I haven't been able to make it because of the pandemic. And now this, you know, it's like, what's going to happen there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait a minute. So, okay, there's the one chick, I don't know who the hell she is, and it's going to be dead, 50,000 dead. I can't go to Italy. Holy fuck.
God, these people are clueless of their speaking of the rich of the rich.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
Now, this is a person who's been presenting for years.
Right.
And this boggles my mind. You know how tone deaf that is.
Yeah.
Mike knows how tone deaf that is. I obviously know. How come you don't know how bad that is? Oh, my God.
Because she has not been taxed enough. No, I'm just messing.
No. The czar speaks.
No. So so here's my like unfiltered thought though. So I have a trip to Israel that popped up, and it has crossed my mind, not like, oh, poor me, but like something may happen to my trip though if the war moves farther. So like I do get like she may be worried, but you don't just go on when somebody's saying so many are going to die and be like, oh, me as well, going to suffer really bad here, right? Like there's a point where like, yeah, you may think that, but you don't say that except for on the Zane show. That's the only time you
can pull it off there. Sure. Oops. Sorry about that. Something's happening. Oh, stop.
It's only on your end.
Okay, good. Anyway, so just keep it to yourself is I guess my point, you know?
I think it's because nobody tells those people no. Like Megan checks me, I might say something. She's like, yeah, that was a little rough, dude. Like, you might want to tone it down. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. I gotta work on that or whatever. But I think these rich people, they're just walking around like no one said. They're all yes people. All their entourage or their assistants. They're never going to check them. And that's probably why she just said that.
Oh my God. That is, and so the usual suspects reached out to The View for comment. No one had a word to say, but at the end of the day, this actually is not the worst thing. If you put your foot in your mouth, that is good for business. Because the world discusses it. They talk about it. No one's talked about The View since the last time one of these morons did this.
Isn't Whoopi on The View? Didn't she just do something a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, with Jewish people.
The Holocaust?
Yes.
Correct. Yes, she said. Yeah, I'm gonna screw it up. It was something about it wouldn't be. It's not racist because everyone was white or something like that.
What?
Yeah, something like that.
She hates white people though.
No. Yeah, she was describing that. I mean, how can this be racist? She said it was more like just man's inhumanity to man. It was awful, the worst thing in the world. She was almost saying it's worse than being racist. But I actually defended her on my show.
Did you?
Oh yeah, big time, because I understood that what she was trying to say. I actually, before I destroyed her, I listened and I didn't pay attention to what everyone was trying to tell me how I should feel. And then I understood what she was getting at. But then she even caved and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." It's like, no, dig your heels in. No.
That show is a disaster. They need to just pull that shit off the air.
I haven't listened in like 20 years. I don't know why I used to watch and listen.
Yeah, I don't know why either, bro.
I think because it was the only thing on, because we didn't have cable. So I think it popped on like when you were sick. Well, so more than 20 years ago because I'm old. So
that wasn't on that long ago, was
I
it?
think so. I think it's been on for like 5 years.
Jason, you scoff, but what they do is what we're doing right now.
True.
We are discussing things, And so I remember seeing that. And if any show I watch makes me go, what? Huh? That's a winner.
True.
That's what you want. You want them to pull something out of you. If I'm bored or I'm not paying attention, sucks.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. That's why you need to get back on the radio, right?
No, I don't know about that.
That'd be terrible.
The only hope that after the direction with saying whatever I want for years now, anybody who listens to the podcast heard radio, Eric, they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What is this shit?
Yeah. It would be terrible. I just honestly, it would be so weird for you to be. You would have to work on it. You would have to physically work on. I mean, I know you do the voiceover for the oldie station, but I mean, on a talk radio show, for you not to drop the F word.
Oh God, it'd be the worst. But we'd have a dump, and you know what? I would be very honest about that. Let's just say I was on a radio show, I would say yeah, because the only way I would accept a job. If I've talked about this, if the podcast was left alone, because I can promise you, whoever I work for would say, you can't do your podcast anymore. And I said, well, then I'm not going to take the job.
Right.
Yeah,
why would you want to go into the office every day, deal with that bullshit, all the politics? Like I remember all the stories that you used to tell us, like that you got it, man. This is the best gig in the world. Let me tell you.
We're just scratching the surface on those stories too. There's so many other ones of just, I think one of the things that that I'm just so happy I don't have to deal with is pressure. Pressure. And I didn't really have pressure on Free Beer and Hot Wings because we had what I've described as the juice. We could do whatever we wanted. And so there was no pressure. It wasn't until I left that show and had to do my own show that's when I realized, oh boy. Now, prior to Free Beer and Hot Wings, there was a lot of pressure in other towns when I worked alone and things like that. That was scary. And then it went away. Had a great run with no pressure and then back into full pressure. And then podcasting, it's like, but there's pressure, but you can alleviate the pressure if you work.
See, that's what I was going to say. I remember early on, you could hear it in your voice. You were up against it. And now, not that you're not still up against it. You're doing great. You're fine. You're comfortable, and you still have to work. But I can see what you're saying, but it's still a big load to have it up. Oh, that came out wrong.
Oh yeah, it is a big load. I love it.
Yeah. Hey, to have it all on your shoulders. I still can't believe you haven't hired somebody, at least like an assistant.
Wait, for real? There's no assistant?
He does everything.
No way.
Everything.
That's crap.
Yeah.
But true. I totally believe you, but I can't believe that.
That's figured out tricks. it's all about what can I do that can get whatever I'm doing done faster so that I can get to the next thing to do faster.
Wow.
So, and it's those first, a long time, year and a half. You're right. It was remarkably hard, but I was just lucky that the people didn't give up. I mean, some did. I mean, I've got the emails to prove it. I'm not listening. It's boring. It's like, oh no. So that was tough. But then I don't know, something just clicked. I guess you just kind of get more comfortable.
Yeah.
Doing a solo show is definitely something that you have to practice, and that's why I try to like convince people who don't listen anymore. But like say, hey, well, I think I'm getting it now. If you could try it again, that'd be fun, please.
Yeah, I would say the first 6 months were rough.
Yeah, it was tough to listen to.
You're by yourself. Like I started a little Hey Guys podcast, just like tips and tricks. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. It's 10 minutes. And I'm like, Jesus, like,
yep. Well, the trick, one of the things is when you are finishing a thought and then you don't hear anybody respond, you get a little bit of anxiety. And then you repeat that 50 times in one show. By the end, you're a mess.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. I've noticed that I'll stop and just collect my thoughts and still let it record. It's not a video or anything, it's just audio. And it's totally fine because I'm by myself and I'm like, collect my thoughts and I'll just cut that out when I edit.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing for me was, and it's live. It's live.
You went all in. No one can say you didn't go all in. Jeez.
So I think I remember when this started. I think you were in like your living room with like a fake tree. Is that true, or is that something like I made up? I feel like there's a fake tree involved.
That was so when I got fired from Free Beer, I did it in my kitchen and then my living room.
Okay.
Just a video camera. It wasn't mic'd. It was just the microphone that's on the camera.
Yeah.
And so I did that until I got a job. And I actually had most of the shit here, but I just put it away while I did the radio thing. And then that dried up. And then I kind of bounced around. The audience built me this room. I had a room, but it was just studs. And they finished it for me. So that was very sweet. And just kept doing it. Nose to the grindstone. Figure it out, dumb fuck.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love all that radio talk and the stories. I love that shit. So I
like telling it. I know that when I do talk about war stories of moments from the radio, like it has a little bit of a behind the music vibe to it.
Yeah.
You know, when people who may have listened to the radio show, but enough about me. What do you think? Yeah. I mean, my God, you guys, how do you come up with your topics for your show? Because I see a lot of discussions about mental health and things like that and stuff that I wouldn't touch, but you guys do. I mean, explain that to me.
Mike? No. So probably the last 6-8 months, Ben was writing the show plans. And so that was kind of a nice relief for me. I have trouble coming up with that content. I'm a good on the fly kind of guy, like a pop off, like I can, whatever the discussion is. A lot of the interviews, we don't even write a lot of questions because I just listen to the person and then I come up with the questions. Right.
That's good. That's very good.
It's hard to do, but once you focus in on the guest, you have to focus in, you can come up with your content real easy. So when Mike took over, he took over that role and Mike is a youth pastor, a full-time youth pastor. So he's very good at putting together programs and stuff like that. And so, I don't even know how we come up with it.
Normally we sit over Zoom and we just say, what in the world do we want to talk about these next 2 months, and questions that'll come up. And and so and then certain guests, right? We know certain guests want to talk about things. And so I don't know. It's not like a secret sauce. It's kind of like just throwing things out and hope something sticks, And I mean, it's not scientific at all, but it's kind of things that are going on with Jason and I, and questions that we bring up, and that's how we go forward with it.
So I want to talk to you, Eric, about this. You talk about your personal stories. I bet people love those, and we did get feedback about those, and people like, we do a personal episode a month where we just talk about what's going on. Yeah. People like those more than our topicals and or our interviews.
Yes. And I've that's been the norm with me too. They'll never remember the interview you did with so-and-so, referring to They'll always remember the time you talked about when this happened in the house, or this 100%. Dog shit in your bed or something like that.
You got your stories. My gosh. I mean, I know there's always a little embellishment, but my gosh, the whole Maddie thing, I like her being sick and the whining on the phone. If Avery did that, I'd be like, I'm done talking to you until you stop whining at.
Yeah. It's spectacular. I try to, because the one thing is that you're always going to be able to, if you got to try to tap in on the one thing that people can relate to. And most people can relate to those types of dynamic around the household. I firmly believe that every single household in America is the most entertaining thing in the world. That's just those little nuanced things. And so I'm just constantly, how can I talk about this? And they're dealt out like playing cards every day. And it's like,
easy for you.
This is ridiculous how easy this is. My God. You just throw in a few stories from the world, mix in some war, mix in some pandemic, a little side of Tom Brady, and voila.
So you got a show.
You have 3 hours of a show.
Yeah, I wish we could do that, but no. So one thing we are changing is we're doing seasons now. So we're going to podcast for 3 months and take a month off. I know. Actually, this was decided before Ben left. But it's just, I think it'll be good for the show. It'll be good for us to refresh. And, we all got full-time jobs and families too. So we got to.
Yeah, you should do it like a sitcom, like bring in like a new character or something like that. Or, a new angle to work in. Like throwing a little theatrics into the deal.
Yeah, I mean, we could try. I mean, I'm full of drama, but we are going to still put up content, but just it won't be us regular episodes for the month of April. So
just I don't know, find the one kid in the neighborhood of Jenison, like the one black family, and have a little black kid sit behind you and just stare at you the whole time.
That would be weird. And wait till someone says something before he goes home.
Yeah, people are like, what in the world is going on with that kid behind you?
Yeah, he just doesn't say anything. He just stares at the back of your head.
Mike, question. Is youth pastor, is it non-denomination? Is it Christian Reform? What's going on in your world?
It is Christian Reform. So I am like, except for we are CRC light is what I like to tell people. We're kind of CRC, but we're not that CRC. And anyone in this area kind of knows what that CRC is. The old stodgy, like suit coats and boring worship CRC. We're not that, but we still are CRC.
Do you answer to another entity?
They can bark at us, but they can't really do much to us. So it's kind of weird in the CRC. Like they can bark at us and say, hey, we shouldn't do that, but they can't make us do anything, if that makes sense.
I see. So we're starting Lent on Wednesday. Is that how does CRC approach Lent?
So I don't know how normal CRC approaches Lent, but we are going to do it. We're going to do Ash. We're going to do Ash Wednesday, and we're going to do that with our students and children and adults, and we're going to do like the cross and all of that. I know
I was going to say the normal CRC they don't do nothing.
I know, so we are kind of going opposite of the normal CRC. So we are going to be wild, and I don't know why my voice just cracked like I was 13.
That's all right. Well, it's funny because when I moved here, it was at a time period, as it's been described to me, that there was some real butting of heads between CRC and Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know anything about that. I just heard that there was a lot of like arr, arr, things like that. So us Catholics, which is me, we give something up for Lent. Is that something that you guys do?
Yes, I have in the past, and like I think for my family, we are actually going to add something during Lent. Like
that's true. Yeah, I've heard that too.
So my son wants to read the Bible more, and so
Right.
he's going to add that to his daily routine because he wants to add that. But yeah, it's really cool. Like, you know, and I hate when like CRC and Catholics fight. Like, come on. We are on the same team.
We're all Christians.
Yeah, we're fighting over stupid things, and we're all like making each other feel hurt over it.
Yep. And Catholics do it too. I remember I walked up to Father Ron one time. I go, Father Ron. So I mentioned to him that a friend of ours attended used to go to our church, used to attend math. Now he became Christian Reformed. And Father Ron goes, tell him it's not supposed to be a show.
Like Rock Band Church.
That's exactly right. And I go, oh, hey, easy. I'm just the messenger. Don't yell at me, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. I'm giving up sugar, and I haven't been to mass once. I've been to mass once in like the last year. So I am so not in a state of grace. And I talked about this on the podcast. I have to go to the priest and make a full confession.
Have you been taking notes for all this?
I know what I've been up to.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I've been up to. And so you got to sit in front of this guy and tell him exactly if he's serious. Because this is what I do. I fall off the face of the earth and stop practicing. Like I have stopped practicing Catholicism, and I feel like shit. So I'm like, now I got to sit down, and for Lent, I'm going to reinvigorate this. Okay. I am ready to go. So, but you can't just go and assimilate. You can't just start going to mass. That's a problem. That's sin on top of sin. Oh my God. So now I have to confess. And a lot of the audience members, some of them are like, well, I don't understand. You only have to confess to Jesus. Like, not in Catholicism. It's different.
That's why y'all are weird. Like,
exactly. They say we're weird. It's so different. It's so different.
They're not weird, Jason.
Yeah, Jason, different. Listen to Mike. We're not.
Come on. They're just different. But so Jason kind of is on the same journey. So maybe Jason for Lent can copy Eric Zane.
No, I haven't gone to church in a while, a couple years. It's the pandemic.
Oh, I'm getting right. I've got the fever. I'm going to confess, and then I'm going to have 40 solid days of a successful Lenten season, culminated with the Easter Vigil, baptisms, full immersion, submersion, holy oil, the whole doves everywhere, doves.
What church are you going to?
Oh, I can't wait. I am so excited.
Well, I'll be proud of you if you can do the 40 days without sugar, because I mean, let's face it, that's so hard.
How crabby are you going to be on your show every day without sugar the first few days?
Well, you know, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because outside of the cheesecake I had last night, the past few days, I've been no sugar.
Okay.
And I'm doing okay. I got a little bit of a headache, and but every time I see my titties, I'm like, enough. I need to put my titties away. They need to leave me. So that's
on that note.
Yes, you guys, I love you. Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate you. I want everybody to listen to Threads podcast. Hands in. Do you have Hands In on your website?
No, we don't.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, you've been on that kick. I'm about 20 episodes show behind. You've been on it for a long time.
Mike, I want you you'll notice this trend. People, when they make their websites, they use stock footages. Now, I think you actually took your photograph for your website, didn't you?
No, we didn't.
You didn't?
No, okay. Those are stock
images. They have hands in, like one hand on another, or they'll do like bumping fists. And usually they're like, every skin tone is different.
Of course.
Yep. I've seen those. Yep. Know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, now I'm going to see them all the time now.
I know it. What is the next edition of Threads podcast going to cover, since you guys are so well organized? I can't believe you planned those that far in advance, by the way.
Well, we just recorded last night for Friday. We had one of our guests that have been on before. His name's Chris Talon. He's an author. He's actually in my neighborhood. I actually encourage him to start a podcast, Creative Ops. So he's.
What did you talk about?
We talked about, what did we talk about, Mike?
Being shunned by Christians. We talked about weed. We talked about finding a good therapist.
Yeah.
It was a doozy of an episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shunning. Now, has he been shunned?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty bad from his in-laws. Like, it's rough for him. They basically, every time they get together, they're like, why aren't you going to church? And even he's had to set boundaries and say, hey, please don't talk about this. I don't go to church. Like, it's and why you keep they'd be like, oh, how's your book going? And he's like, good, thank you. And they're like, oh, okay, it's too bad you don't go to church though. I mean, it's that blatant.
That's crazy.
He's just got to smile. He's just got to laugh.
Well, he just drinks.
Well, he used to. He's setting good boundaries now. So, anyways, it's a really good time with him.
Okay.
It was a fun time last night with him.
And that's going to publish on Friday? No.
Correct.
Friday. Yep.
Friday.
Yep.
And you can download it wherever you download podcasts. Isn't that easy to say? I love it when shows are just everywhere.
Dude, I listened to a show that you talked about just chirping. Like, send them to Hey Guys Media. I know what they're struggling getting it on Apple.
Yeah, I'm going to.
You should. I'd be like, you guys, 50% of people that listen to podcasts listen on Apple.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing? You're killing yourself. You're paying Zane all this money. Like, you got to get on Apple.
Yeah, I am going to do that. They need someone to help them. So, okay. Yeah. Very good.
All right.
Okay, boys. Well, have a great rest of your day. I really appreciate the time. I really thought we hit it off wonderfully. I can't wait to do it again. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we'll get you on our show sometime. We're going to shoot for March because we're taking April off. So.
Yeah. Okay. I'm down, man. Just let me know. You know, I'll be here for you.
All right. Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Thanks. Mike, it's a pleasure.
Yep.
All right. See ya.
Okay, boys.
Hands
Take
in.
care.
Bye.
See ya. Hands in.